All right, welcome back, guys. Training number 2 for today. This one's going to be a little bit quicker, but it's going to be just as impactful as training number 1. We call this the rapid approach. And if you utilize this effectively, I can promise you without a shadow of a doubt, I don't care what script you're following right now, you will increase conversions with this, with these few techniques that I teach you today. You will increase conversions by a minimum 25%. So, few rules about this. Number 1, grab a pen and a notepad. You want to take notes. Number 2, I'd like to see, and I'd love for you guys to message me after the fact if you know your metrics going into this and you know your metrics going into, say, next week, right? Show me utilizing these techniques, and if these techniques have changed your sales closing ratios. I'd love to see your conversion ratios based on, how many leads you're working with today, how many leads you're working with a week from now, and see if your conversion ratios have increased. Because I am hyper confident that you can increase your ratios by a minimum 25%. I've utilized these with my teams. I have seen upwards of 50 to 75% conversion ratios by some of these approaches being enacted. So without further ado, we're going to run through this. And by the way, this script that I'm utilizing for you guys, this is for our real estate investor script. I'm utilizing this as if I'm a real estate investor trying to sell a wholesale deal to a real estate investor. So, if you're in the insurance business, or you're in a car sales business, or you're an attorney trying to sell work, right? I don't care what business you're in. This approach works in all sales. It's universal. So you can basically take what I'm utilizing here and just revise the script to use to work within your industry, right? Don't think because I'm utilizing this inside of a real estate domain or a real estate concept that this thing can't be taken. And you could use this to sell flowers, guys. You can use this to sell baked goods. You can use it for anything, right? The rapid sales approach is very, very universal when it comes to sales, and again, very simple to replicate. So I'm going to jump right into it. What's the R stand for? By the way, rapid is an acronym. Rapid is, we're going to run through it. But number 1, R stands for rapport. Okay, we're going to build rapport first. What's that look like? Whoa, this is the wrong one. All right, so let's start out with rapport, right? Somehow that got mixed up in the slide deck. Rapport, number 1, is going to be something like this. I'm going to introduce myself, and I'm going to say, hey, Bob, my name's Joe, and I'm an investor just like you. So on the rapport side, I want to relate, right? So on the first phone call, the first introduction, the first thing I want to do is I want to use words like just like you, right? I want to build rapport, and I want to communicate, and I want to connect with my prospect right off the bat. So if you're calling somebody and you can use those words like just like you, that's what we call neurolinguistics processing, right? That's NLP. Whenever I can put somebody in a safe zone and I can make them feel connected right away in the first conversation, I want to utilize something like that. So again, the script should have said something like, hey, Bob, my name's Joe. I'm an investor just like you. So if I'm calling a buyer of properties, right, for wholesale deals, that's going to be the first words that I'm going to say. So rapport is instant. The first sentence, I'm relating immediately off the bat. Bob, I'm an investor just like you. I was calling or returning your call because you were reaching out to us about some properties that we had for sale, right? So that's how I'm going to baseline the first sentence off the bat when I start to talk to somebody, is that instantaneous rapport building. I'm just like you, or I'm an investor. Put them in their safe zone, right? Because especially when you're calling somebody back, guys, in today's day and age, we all know that we're getting robo-dialed, we're getting called all day long. And when people answer the phone, especially if they don't know the number right away, they're on their defenses, right? The first thing they think about is like, who the heck is calling me and why, right? It's another car warranty company trying to sign me up, right? So again, first things first is rapport, right? Now, once you built that rapport, they know who you are. They've kind of let down their guard for a second. I'm going to jump right into A, which is agreeing to the agenda, right? Why are we on the call? So, Bob, this call should only take 5 to 10 minutes. It won't take long at all. Really, I just want to review what a perfect deal looks like for you, because I want to see if we're going to be a good fit to work together, right? Then we'll see if I have some inventory that might be a fit for you, right? After that, we can decide if we're really going to move forward and work together, right? We're going to make sure that this is a good, harmonious relationship, right? So we want to agree to the agenda of that call before we move forward. And by the way, this is a critical step for a lot of you in sales. You should be doing this all the time anyway. How many times have you guys got on a phone call and you just wasted 20 minutes or a half an hour with a prospect that you know is going nowhere fast, but you're locked into a conversation, right? You know, especially it kind of happens when you call little old lady and you realize that, like, oh boy, this is not a prospect that's gonna buy my stuff, but she's bored and she's looking for someone to talk to and chat it up with. So you end up on the phone for far too long. Starting to agree to the agenda in advance creates two things. One is you're actually setting the tone for the call and you're saying, hey, I'm controlling this call. Here's what it is. Here's what we're going to do. And then this last piece is important, right? You're going to say, does that sound fair? Right? So of course they're going to say, yeah, it sounds fair. I'm agreeing to the agenda. That's what it is. Well, you're getting buy-in. You're getting a yes from your prospect, right? So that's simple. Does that sound fair? Right? Or you can say, does that make sense? Right? You're just getting a yes. So that's a soft close. It's a soft yes. You're getting that very early on in the conversation. Getting your prospect to say the word yes very early on in the conversation starts to open up those barriers, starts to lay down those doors a little bit, getting people to start to soft commit to you before you've even really talked to them about anything, right? So lay the agenda down for your call, regardless of what it is. Keep it soft, keep it simple, but explain what you're there to talk about. Also, setting that baseline for the time is really important, right? If you really think it's going to take 20 minutes or a half an hour to have the call, be forthright with it. But the truth is, like, it should never take you more than 10, 12, 15 minutes max to do a pitch call to discuss your products, right? If it does, maybe you want to think about making that a little bit more succinct. So the P, right? The P stands for probing. Next, we're going to go into, so Bob, look, I could just flat out review our current inventory. Like, I could send you a link and shoot you over everything we got. But the point is, I would rather build a long-standing, long-term relationship. When I'm dealing with my buyers, it's more of a personal connection, right? I want repeat buyers, Bob. I want to know what you like. I want to know what the products are that you want to buy, so that when the time is right and I get that deal that pops up in our inventory, I think to myself, this is a Bob deal, right? So tell me, what was your favorite deal that you've done in the last 6 to 9 months, right? Bob, you're a real estate flipper, right? What's a good deal for you? Is it, a lipstick deal? Do you like to get down and dirty and do the fire damage houses? Do you like, new construction? Do you like building additions on properties, right? What does a perfect deal look for you? So, just picture in the last 6 to 9 months, what was your favorite deal, right? And Bob's going to go, oh man, I did this 3-bedroom, 2-bath rancher. I was in and out. It had some wallpaper. I knocked out a kitchen and I made $100,000. All right, perfect. What town was it in, Bob? Tell me a little bit more about that. Then you might say something like, well, so Bob, if I found you that perfect deal, if I found you another one of those, right, that Cherry Hill rancher, would you be able to move forward on that deal today, right? So we're identifying. Perfect. So now that I know exactly what your perfect deal looks like, Bob, let me tell you about a few that I have. Now, for those of you that are in real estate, this is a really good moment in time for you, right? Because some of you might be saying, well, like, I don't have any inventory, so what the hell? Like, I mean, Joe, you can't be taking me down this road, having all these conversations with Bob, and I got nothing to sell, Bob. Here's the beauty of it, guys. You do have something to sell, Bob, because you just found out Bob's perfect deal, right? You got into Bob's psychology and you understand what makes Bob tick, right? You understand now what Bob likes. So you have now reverse engineered what Bob likes. And this is what it's all about, folks, is building great rapport with your consumer and understanding what they want to buy. So if you know that Bob loves to buy ranchers in Cherry Hill, guess what? Your job is to go find Bob ranchers in Cherry Hill. And don't assume that Bob has seen every rancher in Cherry Hill or that Bob knows every seller selling a ranch in Cherry Hill, right? This is where you can reverse engineer it. But let's assume for a second that you have or you work for or you're part of a team of wholesalers that does have a bunch of inventory, right? This is also your opportunity to say to Bob a few things. You could say, because if you know you have inventory coming in constantly, I might say to Bob, hey, you know what, Bob, I don't have any Cherry Hill ranchers right now, but here's the 2 things I do have. Number 1, I got a couple deals right down the street in Pensauken that might make sense for you. I'm not sure if that's an area you're interested in. It's only a couple miles away. Demographics, pricing, all look pretty much the same, right? Bob might say, oh, that's perfect. Or I'll tell you what, Bob, I'm going to call my acquisitions team right now. I'm going to let them know to put their eye out for a Cherry Hill Rancher because I've talked to you now and I know what your perfect deal is. And all of a sudden you start to reverse engineer your sales team to get Bob some inventory. But I tell you what, Bob, now that I've talked to you and I understand and you're legit and I know you're a buyer, I'm going to start to look for that, right? And when I call you, my question, Bob, is, are you ready to go? Are you ready to close if I find you that perfect deal? You're getting buy-in from Bob, right? So do any of these look like a match for you? Anything above, anything that I just said, would that be a match for you? If Bob says yes, now we're looking for a decision, a D, right? But a decision with a deadline. And this is what's important, right? We don't just want our prospect to make a decision. We want to timestamp that thing. We want to make sure that when they make a decision, we can hold them accountable for it and they can hold us accountable for it. And we can make a closing happen, right? So based on what I shared to you what I shared with you today, where do you think we should go from here? Now, it's very important. I'm going to repeat it twice. And I want you guys to write it down. This is a powerful, powerful close. Based on what I've shared with you today, Bob, where do you think we should go from here, right? You're not asking Bob for a sale. You're not saying, hey, Bob, I got this deal. I want to jam a contract down your throat. How fast can you close, right? You're saying to Bob, hey, Bob, I found out what your perfect deal was. I've told you that I have your perfect deal. You know, it's your move, Bob. What do you want to do, right? If Bob is a legit buyer and he's very interested and he needs inventory and he wants to move, Bob is going to show up right now and he's going to say, Joe, I want to do business with you, man. Send me that deal. Let's go. When can I close? When's title clear? Like I got the money. Let's roll, right? Or if Bob wasn't legit or is having some conflict or thinking twice or has some objections or really isn't really sure about what the hell he's doing, Bob might say something to you like, well, I don't know. What don't you know about Bob, right? Let's get clear on that. What's the problem? What's the issue? What's holding you back? What's the obstacle, right? But asking the question the way we did here, based on what I've shared with you today, Bob, where do you want to go from here? It's open-ended, right? I didn't just pigeonhole Bob into, do you want a contract, right? I've spoken to Bob and kind of let him become the decision maker and give me some feedback on what our next steps are together, right? And I think that's a very empowering. I want you guys to understand this. This is one of the most important pieces to this, is when the decision happens, I'm letting Bob make the decision. I'm not forcing the decision on Bob, right? I've now given him instruction. I've given him some information. I've given him what the perfect deal looks like. I've kind of put that in front of him, but now I'm saying, Bob, it's your move, right? What do you want to do? So from that point, Bob might say, hey, you know what? I like it, but I got to discuss with my partner. Second most powerful close to that. Listen, Bob, I can appreciate that, right? Again, the words are impactful. I can appreciate that. I'm approving his objection. I'm accepting his objection, right? I'm not denying it. I'm going along with him. I can accept that, Bob. I can appreciate that, Bob. I can appreciate that you need to discuss it with your partner. But, Bob, tell me, is that the only thing stopping you from moving forward with this deal, right? Again, super powerful, right? Because Bob says, I got to talk to my partner. Bob, is it really that you have to talk to your partner? Which could be totally legit, by the way, folks, right? It's a very legit response. That might not be an objection. Bob might have a partner and Bob might not have the autonomy to go buy deals without his partner, right? Or it could be BS because Bob's nervous. Bob's not sure where the money's going to come from. Bob's not sure if he can get this other deal to close on time in order to buy your deal. Bob's not sure if his subcontractors are set up to get on the next deal, right? Bob might be 3 deals deep and he's not sure if he can get 4 deals to go, right? There might be a lot of other stuff underlying going on inside of Bob's head, right? So when I say to him, hey, Bob, I can appreciate it. Again, I'm building more rapport because I'm relating to Bob, right? I'm approving of his objection, right? I know you need to discuss this with your partner, but Bob, tell me, is that the only thing stopping you from doing this deal? Now, if Bob's legit, he's being honest with you again, he might say, yeah, that's it, man. I'll talk to my partner. I'll get back to you. Okay, perfect. So how long do you think that you need in order for me to schedule a follow-up with you, Bob? And he might say, just give me till tomorrow. Okay, cool. How about I call you back tomorrow at 3 p.m., right? Or Friday at 3 p.m., right? Whatever that due date is. So when we make a decision, we're going to finish that decision off with a deadline, right? So all of that leads up to the deadline. Now, if there's no objections, rapid approach works just as well, where you could close on the spot. You might say to him, based on what I shared with you today, Bob, where do you want to go from here? And Bob might say, hey, you shared enough with me that I want to do a deal. Send me the contract. Let's move forward. Now, if that's the case, you still want to have a deadline. Bob, I'm going to send you the contract. When can I expect that back from you? Right? How about I follow up with you today at 1 o'clock or today at 4 o'clock? Is that plenty of time for you to get that thing signed? Right? I'll follow up with you at 4 o'clock today, Bob. Right? Always leave a deadline at the end of the conversation. Right? Don't leave it open-ended just because you sent a contract. Don't leave it open-ended just because, unless there's a close, a signature, money sent, whatever. Don't leave it at the invoice. Don't leave it at the contract. Don't leave it at the quote-unquote sale until the sale is consummated, folks, right? In a salesperson's world, and I know, right, the most difficult part is in the follow-up, right? How many times have you sent out a contract or sent out a proposal or sent out, whatever, and then you had to spend the rest of your time following up on the close, right? I sent you an email. Send it to me in an email. Okay, great. I'll send you all the details in an email. How long do you think it's going to take for you to make a decision, right? This is the deadline piece. This is the most important and impactful piece because, folks, you did all the work. At this level, you have done all of the work. Don't allow this last 1% to keep you from getting across the finish line, right? If I've gotten all the way to the 1 yard line and I'm kissing the touchdown, right? But then I don't put a deadline on it, and then I spend the next 10 days, 2 weeks, a month following up with somebody until I finally beat a dead horse and I give up, right? Already made the sale. Now consummate it, complete it, get through it, get the contract signed, get that invoice paid, whatever it looks like, follow through. That happens with the deadline. So, as always, next steps. What's next? Be defiantly committed to moving forward. Take action on what we're teaching, right? If you're in sales and you wrote notes down on these things, make sure you do it, right? Find someone who can take you from good to great to excellent to outstanding to extraordinary, to make you a better salesperson, a better human being, a better person in life and business. The more skin in the game, the faster you're going to grow. Folks, if you don't have a coach already, hire one. If you don't have a mentor already, hire one. Find someone that's going to help you continue to grow and get better. Remember, we're shaving off decades and we're turning them into days. And if you want help, and you want to level up, go to elevatewithjoe.com, schedule a free discovery call with me. Let me spend some time on the phone, dialing in your weaknesses, helping you find the path to true freedom in your life and your business. I'm here to help. Appreciate you guys paying attention. Appreciate you guys watching. And I look forward to helping you some more in the future. Have a great day.